Well, welcome back to the studio and Happy New Year. It's been a little while since I've posted a blog. I had some super secret commissions to do for Christmas presents, so I couldn't do blogs on them because the recipients would have seen their paintings. So did not post for a little while, and then after Christmas I took just a couple of days break and whatever. So now I am back and painting. This is a piece that is spring. I'm ready for spring. I mean, we hardly have any winter at all here in Texas, in south central Texas, but I love spring and the flowers and the birds and everything. So these are bluebirds. And we really don't have bluebirds in this area, but they're fun to paint. So I thought I'd do some. Plum tree, and I'm using mixes of my permanent rose plus white, and permanent rose plus magenta plus white, and then also some mixtures of cadmium red light plus white. And I have already done the background. The background is mixes of phthalo blue plus cadmium orange plus white. And this has more of the phthalo blue and orange, less white, and then I added more white as I got down here around my bluebirds' heads, the mother and the two babies, because that will just draw your eye to that area. And the painting was originally washed in oil washes. I paint in oil paints, and I used, for the dark purpley is my mud, which is two parts of ultramarine blue and one part of alizarin crimson plus liquid. The flowers I washed in with permanent rose plus liquid and magenta plus liquid, and then the birds are cobalt blue plus liquid, and this is burnt sienna plus liquid. So now I'm working on the flowers. All my washes are dry. They dry overnight using the liquid, and now I can start painting my flowers. And again, these are mixes of my permanent rose plus white. Just makes a really nice hot pink. The light's coming in from the left, so the left side of the flowers will be lighter. I'm using a bright brush. That means that it has a square end. And I can use the corner to make smaller brush strokes, or I can use the flat edge to make larger brush strokes. And you can see my painting is at an angle. A little foreshortened because I have to put the camera at an angle so you can see as I paint. If I had the camera straight on to the canvas, I'd be right in front of it as I'm painting and you couldn't see. So that's what I'm doing. Here's a little bit of my cadmium red plus white. And I'm not going to do all of the flowers, I'm just going to do a small section so you can kind of see how I do them. But I paint the flowers first, and then I will come back in and paint the leaves. And I do that because as I'm painting, let's just do this. See how my brush, I pulled back over that green in the background. See how my brush picked up the green on there? If I went back and painted more on the flowers, it would make the color dirty. So the reason, that's why I paint the flowers first. Then when I come back with my leaves, and it doesn't matter if I pick up some of the flower color on the leaves, because I don't care if that color gets a little bit muted, but I don't want to mess up my flower color and make it dirty. So now I'm coming back with my leaf color, and this is sap green plus white, and then I'm using some phthalo blue plus white. And I just work around my flower blossoms. I'll give a few little greenery in between the blossoms. I'll have a few little stems in here. This is my mud plus liquid, and I can just drag into that wet paint. Again, this is my cadmium red plus white. That just adds a few little warm flowers in there. Gives a nice variation. If you look at flowers, they're not all just the same pink. There's lots of value changes. There's lots of different hues or colors, even within shades of pink. There's lots of different colors. Now this has more white in it because these flowers are getting a little highlight on them. And I'm even going to go back in here and add a little more highlight onto these where the sun's catching them as it's filtering on through. That helps to give shape to the flower clumps, and again, interest. Just you want to bring light into the painting, and that makes the painting very interesting. Some lights in here, just little highlights. And again, this is a bright brush. It's got that square tip. Now see how when I went back and added those little highlights on there, it picked up the green? So I have to just keep wiping my brush with tissue. I use toilet tissue. I use about the cheapest tissue you can find. Jack used to say it's great for painting, but it's not fit for human use. And I have to agree. But I use a lot of it, and when COVID first hit, I had a hard time keeping up with painting because I couldn't get enough tissue to wipe my brushes. All my friends would show up at the doorstep. Hey, I was at the grocery store and they had some tissue, so I got you a bundle. And great to have great friends like that. And who would have ever dreamed that toilet tissue would have been a wonderful house gift? So here we are. I'm going to now start adding some centers into these flowers. Let's see how I do this. This is magenta plus liquid. And we just add these flowers. Now I'm using a mahl stick. This hooks over the top of my easel. I can just rest my arm on this as I'm painting these, so it keeps me steady as I'm painting. These flowers go in behind Miss Bluebird. That helps. When you have overlapping elements in your paintings, that helps give feeling of depth. So just having these flowers going in behind her, that immediately gives that impression that there's volume there. And I will follow this same technique for all the flowers in this painting. This little plum tree, spring plums. I can just hear the birds singing. And I'm going to add a few little stems up here, just to these little buds. And then I want to soften this. This is just a little bit hard behind her head. So I'm using my background color I've saved, and I can just come back in and I pull toward the flower that I want to soften. So I just do like that, and that softens that just a little bit, more. Yeah, so that gives that some softness there. Now, after softening that flower, I want to get the shape of my mama bird's head in here. So I've got, this is a mixture of cobalt blue plus a little bit of white. I just come back in. I don't want to lose my sketch there. And there we go. Just soften this edge. There's kind of a hard line there where the paint dragged into the background. Just keep that soft. Bring some light in here behind the dark of her neck. Pull that again. Just don't want that hard edge. I'll go all the way down. Now the paint will still be wet when I paint the bird, so I can come back in and make any adjustments I need. But I just want to get that edge here. But having the light hit the flower behind the dark of her wing there helps again to give depth to the paint. Add me a few more centers in my flowers here. I paint these flowers? I want to paint them very impressionistically. I don't want a whole lot of detail in my flowers here at this point, because I want the detail to be in the birds. Detail attracts your eye. The looser, softer areas kind of go back. So the most important thing in this painting is the birds. That's the focus point. So I make them more detailed, so then your eye will be pulled directly to them. So you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Happy New Year's again. And I have made a New Year's vow to make every day a great day. And no matter what happens, we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we react to it. And we all have bad things happen, but it all depends on how we react to it. We can let it absolutely ruin the entire day, or we can say, okay, this has happened, here's how I'm going to deal with it, and I'm still going to make this a good day. I'm not going to lose the whole day over this. And I have used that philosophy for many, many years. Jack taught me that, and sometimes it's very, very hard to do. But just try your best to make each day the very best that it can be. And all those days that you make really good will add up to a really good year, no matter what happens. So you just have a great day today, and thanks for watching my YouTube videos. Visit my blog. The link is in the description below. It's also, the address is on the final frame of my video. And subscribe both to my videos and to my blog. So thank you again, and happy painting.